Hello again, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Since we've been in lockdown, I've had to move to online teaching again with school. And one of the things I've been doing with my senior business classes is we've been working through business plans as part of one of their assignments. And they have to write a business plan. And it's kind of, whenever I've done this assignment, it always like triggers back like old memories of a bit of a vision for a business that I had at one point, and even like made some very preliminary moves into um, making. So I thought it might be interesting with all the extra time I have in my hands just to kind of explore the ideas a little bit that I had and just maybe share it and put it out there and see what happens. Maybe I don't know, maybe I'll pursue it again. Who knows? Let's see. So just for a little bit of context, one of the things I've been involved with a bit over the last 7 years is property. So that's been buying properties, you know managing properties from a like landlord perspective, and even now more recently I've now getting into property development a little bit as I'm building a house at the moment. I've had a vast array of property experiences, and that's all kind of fed into a lot of the ideas that went into this business idea. So I'm not gonna lie, I've dreamt big with this thing. It's not just like a little small sole trader business that I'd be looking to open. It would be something a bit bigger. Okay, so I'm going to explore the idea I had and just talk you through it a little bit. So what I've done now is I've put together a bit of a PowerPoint, and I'll just talk to it and go through it and just give you a little bit of an idea of my thinking behind the different points in here. So um, start with, I never came up with a business name, and because the idea sort of evolved a lot over time, I never could find a name to suit it. It was initially all I wanted to have was a online real estate agency. Like I don't think anything like that had existed in Australia at the time. About a year and a half after I sort of came up with this idea, and it had even actually started doing some real estate courses so I could get the business off the ground. Purple Bricks moved into Australia, and it was very similar to my business model, which kind of made me feel chuffed that I'd come up with something that I didn't know already existed. Like it was poor market research on my part. But I don't think Purple Bricks really took off here, and they kind of really scaled back their operations. They might not even exist anymore. But the business idea did like move about and grow more from there. So as a little bit of a basic mission statement for what I wanted to do was to build a multifaceted property business that has a significant online or tech presence as well as real estate presence. The financial aim of the organisation was to balance the wealth growth for the organisation with the aim of furthering social outcomes for less fortunate sectors of society. So there was really a big social responsibility element underlying a lot of what I wanted to do with the business, because I guess I've always sort of thought that a lot of people can use real estate to gain and grow wealth, but usually this can kind of come at the expense of people of less off people, and it just sort of pushes them a bit further down the rungs of society. And I'd like this organisation to actually contribute to helping to improve their outcomes. Okay, so let's move on. So I'll just read this bit to you. So, philosophy behind the vision. I've kind of talked about some of this already, but property has been a vehicle for wealth development throughout history. Real estate has been an asset class that has allowed people to pull themselves from the lower rungs of society. However, along the way, especially early on, these market participants often face expensive barriers which only act as further hurdles to wealth development. Through the eventual scale of the insert name property group, it is hoped that these barriers can be minimised. So part of it is, making property services more available and more affordable for everyday people. And on the other side, there's the social responsibility side. And that is, as some participants in real estate and investing markets excel, others are often left behind. In all real estate markets, there are good people who get locked out of the market due to lack of knowledge, barriers to entry, such as financial is particularly a big one here, and lack of opportunity. Many times this is through no fault of their own, purely circumstantial. One of the aims of the insert name property group is to make available affordable quality housing solutions to participants who feel they are locked out of the buying market as part of the business strategy. So that's kind of what I'd like to do, like have a wide range of affordable property services. So I've got something that can come and benefit anyone who uses the business's services. So, very customer oriented, and socially conscious is where I wanted this business to be. Because I feel like with real estate, a lot of businesses related to real estate, it is like the ultimate capitalist business. It's purely for profit. There's not often much thought given to people who can get left behind in the real estate world. And at the end of the day, everyone needs somewhere to live. And if we can give people good quality housing, that's going to be really good for their mental health and just their general welfare. So I think that should be something that goes with this business. All right. So there's kind of 4 pillars of operations which I've got on the screen, which the organisation would reach out into, and these could be set up as a series of subsidiary businesses. I don't know. That's like what I kind of thought, just to make it easier. Like you'd have them running as separate businesses, but under one big parent company. So the first pillar is education and outreach, and this would be where the business would start from. And the reason why I thought it would start from this is because for me to move into those other areas, it takes training and it takes the accrual of wealth. So if you start in the education and outreach side, you can do 2 things. You can build your name, and you can also start generating some sort of income there. So the education outreach would primarily be delivered through social media and web services. Like I said, building the brand name through the provision of free or low-cost educational services. So again, we're tapping into that, helping the general population with something. Revenue can be generated through advertising and as well as, I guess, small sales if there are products or services which sold at what I would hope would be a low cost. Revenue will be generated through those channels, and that also allows the business to actually start getting a bit of a global reach. Part of the strategy would be asset accrual. Real estate is synonymous with assets. So physical real estate held for rental income, and potentially even things like development as well in the future. And listed and unlisted securities would be a part of the strategy. So, buying into paper assets. This will be how the organisation stores wealth and will complement the operations from the real estate services and affordable housing solutions pillars of the organisation. So I suppose the next pillar that the business would be looking to build out will be the various real estate services that it would offer. Now, there's so many industries related to real estate, and what I've put here is just like some industries, and like in an ideal world, we'd be able to build out small little subsidiary businesses related to all of these, but you just have to see what you can do. But you would provide traditional services such as sales and property management, and you try and do them in a way where you're giving clients affordable solutions. So it's not so much wealth driven by the organisation, and the organisation will benefit from people appreciating the service, potentially being return customers, and also just through the sheer scale. So making those services more affordable. Potential other things it could involve would be strata management, repair work, property financing such as mortgage brokering and insurance services, and also potentially property development could be one of the other real estate services that could eventually come out of this conglomerate that I'm putting together, or that I've dreamt up a while ago. And finally, that 4th pillar being the affordable housing solutions. So again, accompanying the asset accrual pillar, you've got accrue and develop assets aimed at providing good quality rentals for marginalised people in society. Also providing solutions and services that can better allow low-income earners entry into the property market. So we'd have the provision of affordable rental properties, but also beyond that, we want to perhaps even provide solutions and services that can better allow low-income earners entry into the property market, so they can also become property owners. I guess the business will do some of that through its educational side, but also, just it could be through real estate development. It could be developing low-cost housing that people can buy into. So it's just coming up with and presenting solutions to help people get into the real estate market as owners. So that's the 4 pillars of operations that I sort of came up with for this business. Anyway, that's all I kind of came up with. It was kind of interesting just kind of exploring those ideas again. It was kind of nice to actually just put them all down somewhere. It's not that well organised, but anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see. Maybe I'll try and explore some more of the ideas behind what I'd come up with a little bit later on. Got a lot of time on my hands at the moment. Cheers.